So, I did not think I would have to make this video, but here we are, 2 months after Yokai Peak's released, and I have yet to make a video on the dungeon. There are many reasons for this that I will get into, but first, let me supply you with some background. Recently, Dungeon Quest has underwent some significant changes, some good, some questionable, and some downright bad. In May 2023, VCafe, also known as Vinny, sold Dungeon Quest to Voldex, a company who owns several other games in the simulator and dungeon crawler genre. It's no surprise to anyone that Vinny chose to do this. He had burnt himself out of making content and was pretty unmotivated to continue updating his game. Upon Voldex acquiring the game, the community was hopeful in seeing a new leaf from Dungeon Quest, but some people were also quite skeptical, including myself. As Voldex was settling in, they started to make some solid quality of life changes, such as faster loads and less teleport fails. These changes made me hopeful that Vinny had made the right choice by selling his game, but the worst was yet to come. Nothing major was established after these changes until the release of Yokai Peaks, or as I like to call it, Yokai Downfall. When the map first released, I was settled into my team of high levels with full tier 3 purple sets, but little did we know this was a massive preparation overkill. To put it bluntly, the dungeon was super easy. We beat Insane first try with several deaths with 3 minutes to spare, and beat Nightmare within 30 minutes to an hour. The challenge that we had hoped for was not there, and our reactions definitely proved this. Just listen to how hyped we were when we beat the dungeon for the first time.
Wait, so if you actually attack while you have it, it hurts your team?
I dropped a green helmet and some
I just
spells.
got 2 gray weapons. It's not to say that the dungeon wasn't fun, but in comparison to how fun Northern Lands and Gilded Skies was on release, the difference is night and day. We basically summed up that Yokai Peak did not meet the level of excitement that we were hoping for. It did not live up to the hype, it was overall extremely underwhelming. So why is Yokai Peak such a bad dungeon? It looks beautiful, it has cool boss mechanics, and it's solo friendly. Like I mentioned previously, the dungeon is too easy. I realize that easier dungeons appeal to the community more because you win more often. But this is a level 200 dungeon. The big takeaway from YP is how terrible the spells are. Now yes, I realize that the spells were changed hundreds of times throughout the release, so I will go over every time the spells were changed. Kunai Knives was changed. Kunai Knives was changed again. Spinning Blade Smash was changed. Spinning Blade Smash was changed again. Triple Quake was changed. Triple Quake was changed again. Yokai Transformation was changed. Chainstorm was changed. Chainstorm was changed again. Void Dragon was changed. Rift Beam was changed. Spirit Link was changed. The seal sucks by the way. Hands of Death was changed. Kunai Knives was changed yet again. Spinning Blade Smash was changed yet again. Triple Quake was changed yet again. Chainstorm was changed yet again, and also changed yet again. I think I missed some of the changes, but you get the point. For a more in-depth review on YP spells, I would recommend checking out Jules Just Gaming's video. I will have her channel linked in the description. The reason for all these changes was to balance out the EIF/EIR meta. This clearly did not work, and we are still using spells from GS and YP reigns. Not to mention how incredibly unbalanced War and Mage are, or at least were until they finally gave War the buff it needed. It only took the team several weeks of the community complaining to finally show War some love. Mage was so much better than War in terms of GS spells and YP spells. Having a warrior in your raid was basically a liability. I'm glad they at least made War more tolerable. Now let's get into the main reason I have not made a video on this dungeon, and that is the length. This dungeon takes almost 4 minutes for my raid to complete, compared to a GS raid that only took 2 minutes. Even though this is the longest dungeon in Dungeon Quest history, the drop rates remain the same. We still get 2 items on non-hardcore, if you have the extra item game pass, which still costs an astounding 2,000 Robux, and 3 items on hardcore. They could have at least thrown an extra item in for YP only, or made tier 3 and legendary items less rare to get. If I were to make a drops video on this dungeon, it would take over a month to even get 2 minutes worth of good drops. For all of you asking for me to make a YP video, here it is. Here are all the drops I got in the first week of the update. Honestly, Throughout all the stuff I complained about this dungeon, it was still enjoyable to play during the first week. But that was before the infamous 68% XP nerf that was added to YP. Let me just come out and say it, the Voldex team is terrible at interpreting feedback. The response to the community saying the dungeon is too easy and it's too easy to level up was for them to nerf the XP to the ground. It was so bad after the 2x XP event had ended that Gilded Skies was more viable to grind for XP than YP was. The logic behind this nerf was that Voldex wanted to set up the XP rate in line with previous dungeons, so about a 3.5 to 4 times increase. But what they failed to take into account was the dungeon is twice as long as Gilded Skies. As I am writing this, the XP is still way too low and is a huge factor to why I stopped playing YP altogether. Before the video ends, I just want to say that the purpose of this video was not to slander or flame the Voldex team in any way. I made this video simply to criticize and provide feedback to the current state of Yokai Peak and Dungeon Quest as a whole, as well as to explain why I have not been playing as much. I will be keeping up with the future changes that will be added to the game, and I will certainly be playing the next dungeon whenever that day comes. With that said, thank you all for watching. I hope you understand my choice to step away from Dungeon Quest for the time being. That's about it. Peace.